let me bring this up on the Epstein stuff to give us some perspective on where we're at. So this is Sasha Stone. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she does amazing columns on her Substack. She used to write for Hollywood. She was big into Hollywood, just all the insider stuff, hardcore Democrat. And then the wokeness scared her away. So she changed. And now she writes uh, excellent stuff for MAGA Republican side of things. Great perspective. And so she weighed in on her perspective for Epstein, and I thought this was so good. So they said South Park watch party. Dude, we do need to do a South Park watch party. Now that I'm on Rumble, I can get away with something like that. So I'm gonna have to try it one of these nights on one of these unlisted members' lives, and we can watch some South Park or something fun. All right, it says, I understand how invested the right's been in the Epstein case, believing Bill Clinton, Gates, and other powerful people are on tape committing sex crimes. I also know how the word Epstein has come to mean dark dementia, powerful we can't see but can only imagine. One only had to drop the name Epstein for it to come flooding in. This is mostly true on the right. It's sort of true on the left. The Me Too movement transformed once empowered women into helpless victims where all they had to do was point the finger and someone would be convicted. The Me Too movement fused with the right's long-standing judgment on, say, Bill Clinton's treatment of women, where we on the left excused him, lied for him, covered up for him. They did not. They were the ones who set up the sting operation with Linda Tipp to catch Bill, an act today's left might have approved of. They were the side that brought in Bill Clinton's accusers to Trump's debate with Hillary. They have been consistent. Epstein came to mean the whole world of deep state sex crimes. It was real to them, and Epstein's suicide confirmed it. But in all that time, there wasn't real transparency by the Biden administration or now with the Trump administration, except that there's no client list, no pedophilia on tape by powerful people except Epstein. I understand why people will never believe they're telling the truth, but I do, because I come from the left, and I know they would want to expose anyone and would if they could. Trump would have been exposed by the Democrats long ago. What happened, very interesting point, and one we've all believed, but she coming from the left is very important, I think. What happened on Epstein Island was, I think, like a lot of what happened before Me Too era, where loose morality engaged wasn't judged nor was it checked. Arranging sex with barely legal women would have been seen as a monumental crime on our side. The right's consistent. They are side with morality baked in from Christianity, but we did not have morality on the left, not until the rise of Obama. And I don't even know what that means because they don't have morality with Obama. It says, I don't believe Pam Bondi, Cash, Dan Bongino, and Trump would lie. Rather, I think they're embarrassed. In the end, it was the Maltese Falcon. They could not deliver on their promise to expose powerful people because no such evidence exists. Either was already destroyed or there was never there at all. Now, I disagree that it never existed. But was it hidden, deleted, something like that? Yes, that's very possible, unless the Trump administration has it and is using it for behind the scenes. But the main point I wanted to share was from this former lefty who they went too far and lost her. But the fact she says this, I believe the Trump administration, because I come from the left and I know they would want to expose anyone and would if they could. Trump would have been exposed by Democrats long ago. And that's the key phrase right there of why I wanted to share this. I thought it was important and interesting for that. So, anyways, Donna asks, Epstein supporting Ukraine, possible amnesty for illegals. What I think is going on. First of all, no amnesty for illegals. Trump's already shot that down. Don't listen to his Treasury Secretary, Duffy, the, what is she? No, Ag. I can't remember, Secretary of Agriculture or something like that. Don't listen to her. She's throwing stuff out there. Trump has already smashed it down. No amnesty. He said that at the best case scenario, they'll create a program for them and they'll still have to leave the country and come back. So that's a non-starter. Don't listen to all the people online telling you he's doing amnesty. As for Ukraine, with Ukraine, yeah, he's sending defensive weapons over there. Listen, I don't like it, but I'll tell you this. Trump wasn't doing that until his most recent call with Putin, where Putin threw it out like he's not going to stop. He's not negotiating with Trump anymore. He's not even trying to end. And I think Putin smells blood in Ukraine and is going to go for broke. He also did a massive attack after getting off the phone with Trump. So, what I think is happening, remember this, we don't give weapons to Ukraine anymore. They buy them. That's what the minerals deal was all about. Every time we give them weapons now, we get something in return. So it's not the same as it was under Biden. And secondly, he also sent only defensive. So it's only for protecting themselves. And then on top of that, I think this is negotiating. I think Trump is giving them just enough to show Putin, like, listen, man, if you don't work with me, I have to annihilate you, or I have to at least, like, did you guys see that story where Trump told Putin that if you go into Ukraine, this is back in his first term, he said, if you go into Ukraine, I'm going to bomb the shit out of Moscow. And then he told Xi, if you go into Taiwan, I'm going to bomb you guys. And he said, they only have to believe me 10%. It's enough for them not to go. In other words, Trump is just going to be a tough mother effer when it comes to negotiations. And in my opinion, this whole Ukraine thing is the weapons is negotiation. It's not about staying in the war. It's not why they were doing it in the West from the Eurozone, or why Biden was doing it. It's not to keep the war going. It's to get Putin back to the table, and that's the only thing that makes sense. And if you follow the timeline, it perfectly lines up. Trump was not funding Ukraine before that, so I'm not worried about it. Shogun says you don't like the Rumble app. Why? What's wrong on Rumble app? And Rumble has always worked great for me. I've never had an issue with it, but anyways, but yeah, Donna, I get it, but listen, we can't get distracted by small stuff that's like, we're disappointed with Epstein, but it doesn't mean justice isn't coming. I mean, he just announced they're going after Comey and Brennan, so stuff's still happening. So let's not get caught up, and let's just trust the process. We elected Trump because we trust him, and he's dealing with more crap than any of us could ever imagine. It's more difficult. The swamp is deeper. It's more corrupt. And there's more pressure coming from all sides than any of us could ever imagine, way more than anything any of us have ever dealt with. And so I elected Trump because I trust the man and I trust the team he's put around him. And so I'm going to give him huge leashes for the entire 4 years. And I'll only be seriously worried if we get to the end of the 4 and then we haven't seen much. But I just don't see that as being what's going on right now. But that's just me. This is Scott Adams breaking down the Epstein stuff, and I really think Scott has a really interesting viewpoint here as well. He says, did Trump order a lie for the good of the country on Epstein to secure Middle East peace? Now, he says, so I'm not suggesting Israel was involved in any way. What I'm saying is if that were the reason you're not seeing the truth, it would make perfect sense for the good of the country. So I would agree. And again, this is purely speculative. I have no insider information. By the way, I'm reading this. I could play the clip, but I'll probably read it faster than he'll say it. But you know what? It's Scott. God bless you, Scott. We'll listen to the clip. It's better if Scott says it. He's much more smarter and persuasive than myself anyways. So Scott, you have the floor.
Very soon. So I'm not suggesting that Israel was involved in any way. What I'm saying is, if that were the reason that you're not seeing the truth, it would make perfect sense for the good of the country. So I would agree. And again, this is purely speculative. I have no insider information on this at all. But if it's true that Israel was, deeply involved with Epstein, this would be exactly the time not to bring that up. You know what I mean? And if I someday learned that Trump knew exactly what was being withheld and he decided to just tell everybody to lie about it, and if he went to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Bondi and said, here's the deal. If you tell the truth about this, again, this is just speculation. This is not real. We'll lose the biggest chance for Middle East peace we've ever had. So I'm gonna give you an order that this is such top secret that you just have to lie. You're just going to have to lie. And I know you hate it, but we've got to protect this deal. It's just too big a deal. Would you then, if that were true, and again, I have no evidence to suggest it is, if that were true, would you tell yourself that Trump had screwed the country, or maybe took a chance with his own legacy to do the thing that would be good for the country and good for the world? It's a complicated world. So I would say that I don't believe that we're being told the truth. But I also don't think that it's lying in the traditional sense. Because if our people involved in our intelligence groups or just people who know what these secrets are, if they lie to you for the good of the country, which would be normal, your own intelligence people lying to you for the good of the country, is that lying? Is that the lying that you would hold against somebody? If you knew that the reason they were lying is for the good of the country. I don't know. I wouldn't hold it against any of them because that would be their job. It would literally be their job to sometimes tell us that they don't know something when they do know something.
Excellent. And Scott, I know you don't watch, but blessings to you, man. And man, I hope we don't lose him. I love Scott Adams. Listen, I totally agree with Scott as far as the lying part. We all know it's not what they're not telling us the whole truth. But are they telling us the whole truth because it's for the good of the country? And that's what I believe. I'm not saying it's because of Middle East peace or anything. That was just him giving an example of what it could be. But, the smartest people who aren't Trump haters, okay? There's a bunch of Trump haters, and there's a bunch of Trump TDSers who just they're going to believe whatever they want to believe, and you can't listen to those people, and you can't listen to the influencers because they're all getting paid. They make money by being outraged all the time. And you can't listen to Alex Jones because Alex Jones, man, my God dang it, Alex just gets so angry every time something doesn't go the way I play this. I told you, Trump, you got to do this. You know what we got to do? Hey, because Trump's high the Epstein list now, and so what we got to do is I need to get Nick Fuentes up in here because Nick Fuentes, he's a smart guy. He's a racist and he's a closet homophobe and he's sucked Destiny's wing, but it doesn't matter because you know what? He hates Israel, and that's why I got to have him on because he's an Israel hater, and everybody who hates Israel is the truth. You can't listen to those people because they play games and they make their living off outrage. So again, it all comes down to, is he lying for our good? And I think he is. So benefit of the doubt. But again, all the smartest people who I know who actually don't get paid for outrage and don't have TDS, they all have come to the similar conclusion. They don't know why, but they're all saying that we don't think this is nefarious on Trump's part. So everybody who can think clearly does not think anything nefarious is going on Trump's part. And so I'm going to be with those people. I want to be on the Scott Adams side of things. The Sasha Stones, they're too smart, man. Too smart. Barefoot by DC, what's up on Rumble? Yoker, what's up? Yoker, it's been a bit, man. Good to see you. Big B, what's going on? Anthony says we have bigger fish to fry, like sending Taylor Swift to Alcatraz. Oh, man. Anthony, she could just shake it off. Hero at large asks, Wiener laptop, Hunter laptop, anything on these, or did the FBI destroy everything? Yeah, I mean, your guess is as good as mine, man. Those, the Wiener laptop went into, didn't that go into evidence under Obama? And then the Hunter laptop, obviously, they took it into right before the election. And so I would not be surprised if a lot of that was gone. Somebody put this great timeline together. I don't know the straw KK mark, but this is perfect because this is all true. He says, I won't worry so much. Trump didn't just throw his legacy away. 2004, banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. 05, reported Epstein's behavior to authorities. 09, cooperated with his victim's lawyer. 17, signed executive order targeting human trafficking. Nobody ever talks about this anymore. Do you guys understand? Like, he signed the biggest executive order ever targeting human trafficking to go after the child trafficking and all the stuff going on in our nation. It started to go down significantly. And you know what Biden did on day one? He overturned this executive order right here. That's what he did on day one. And then Trump has reinstated it since coming back. So everybody's like, Trump's in on it with them. BS, guys. Don't play those games. 2019, Epstein arrested during Trump's presidency. 2019, FBI raid on Epstein's island. 2025, release what we had of the Epstein files, which wasn't much. So, anyways, and then Bam weighed in on this and says, this is why I always talk about my 2-week rule when Trump says something controversial. I can't understand that creates a negative knee-jerk response. Let's see what things look like in 2 weeks. Each time he's pissed me off, I come to understand that he was right and I was wrong. Hope this holds true this time as well. This right here is the key. This has happened to me as well. Remember, everybody was just up in arms about Trump and Israel and Iran. And what happened? Trump handled it masterfully. And now what are we talking about? There's no war going on in the Middle East. And we're talking about Abraham Accords Part 2 spreading with more nations signing on. Trump is a master at this stuff. He's the master, and we need to let Trump be Trump. But again, every time he's pissed me off, I come to understand he was right and I was wrong. And again, guys, with this, I'm going to say that Trump knows more than us. He's fighting it on the front lines while we're all Monday morning quarterbacking. And so, yeah, I'm always going to assume he's right and I'm wrong until proven otherwise. And the last thing I want to share on Epstein, what's up, Mike Mishler? How you doing, buddy? On the Epstein tonight is I like to share the Q stuff because, again, at the most, it's accurate forthtelling, and at the least, it's the craziest coincidences. And this is a wild coincidence. This is from July 9th, 2019. Friends, it is July 9th, 2025, 6 years to the day. And it said, you didn't think Epstein investigation began a few months ago, did you? It was under the direction and oversight of AG Jeff Sessions. Expect a lot more to become public. Unsealing. That is a wild thing to be written 6 years ago to the day when we're going through all this Epstein stuff. So it's very important to just chill. We don't know yet.